New York Jets, Sam Darnold, reunion back together? We're going to talk about it. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. And it's a Saturday. Welcome to the weekend, everybody. Jets fans are enjoying their friggin' bye week, which is terrific. And to get us through the bye week and some of these interesting topics like Sam Darnold reunion, well, I got a special guest to help us with those festivities. It's your mama's favorite guest, Esden's own Paul Esden Sr., my father, is here.
Hey now, tell your mothers to lock the door, and I mean the bedroom door. Boom.
Hey now. Whoa. Okay. That got aggressive very quickly. Here we are on a Saturday, everybody, and we have a full article in the YouTube description down below. And where the hell is this coming from? So let's kind of set the line here. All the insiders are saying, and we did a show about this earlier this week, that it is unlikely that Aaron Rodgers returns with the Jets. Now, whether that's true or not, I guess we'll ultimately see. The Jets don't know who their head coach is or GM is. Maybe they'll make a different decision. But as it currently stands, it appears that Aaron Rodgers won't return, which means what the hell is the answer for 2025? The two top unrestricted free agents that are scheduled to reach are Russell Wilson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, with everything, how it's all going in Pittsburgh, I imagine they resign him and keep him, which leaves only one other legitimate option as a bona fide starter. And folks, that's Sam Darnold, baby. And Zach Rosenblatt wrote a piece evaluating a lot of the quarterback options, and he provided a 3-word response to the Sam Darnold Jets reunion rumors. That's not happening. Direct quote. That is Zach Rosenblatt's take, but I'm curious what your take is, Jet fan. So we have a poll that's going on right now on YouTube. Would you be interested in a Sam Darnold New York Jets reunion in 2025? Yes, let's go, or no friggin' way, pal. Make sure you guys vote on that, and we'll check on that throughout today's program. So feel free to get involved on that if you'd be interested, because he would be an unrestricted free agent. And long story short, despite how well things are going in Minnesota, that was always a short-term rental. They drafted J.J. McCarthy as their first-round quarterback for the future. Sam Darnold will likely want to capitalize off of this season with a multi-year deal, which likely means somewhere else. So the Vikings look like they'll be going in their own direction. Sam Darnold will likely be going in his own direction, which leads us to this possibility for the New York Jets. Pop, I'm curious your thoughts of a... You know, the Jets drafted Sam Darnold back in 2018, trading up from the 6th overall pick to the number 3 overall pick and ended up with old Sammy. We had 3 years of Sammy, and then the Jets hit the eject button in that 4th offseason as he was going to head into year 4. I'm curious your take. Sam Darnold, Jets quarterback option?
Yeah, so the short answer is the Jets should not take anything off the table. Nothing should be off the table. I will start with that.
Sure.
I would say that the reason Sam Darnold is not a New York Jet is, and you can hardly blame the franchise, the fans, anyone, is the Jets are, as an entity, which is the fan base plus the franchise, have no patience. Right. And as a result of that, you have players out there that the Jets let go by that they weren't patient with, and now are going to be Pro Bowlers and Pro Bowlers in other succeeding in other organizations. And if the Jets could still have them, so I would say Sam Darnold is 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that he signed for $10 million this year.
Yep.
I would say that signing him. If the Jets were to sign him, and I think it's a viable option, as opposed, with what's out there, realistically, he would be the kind of contract of the Geno Smith contract or this Baker Mayfield contract. So it's not going to be this, it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers value. It's going to be less expensive than that. And I would say you have a few options on the table, and I'm going to discard keeping Aaron Rodgers around, right? For those that are keeping track in the cheap seats, on the list of things that I predicted that were going to be and have come to pass, firing Robert Saleh, firing our general manager. I called that many times. I said that Breece Hall was going to be middle of the pack running back for rushing yards in the league. Check it out. I said he's a phenomenal receiver. Keep that open. He's not a running back that's going to pound the ball. Check it out. 15th in the league. So I'll tell you this now. Let Aaron Rodgers go. There's no reason to keep him. And then you have two options going forward.
Okay.
And these don't have to be in parallel. I mean, these can be in series, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're out Jordan Travis. You got to figure that out and then do whatever, right? Not figuring it out right now is a huge mistake. So figure it out. And then you bring in, the Russell Wilson, right? You bring in the Sam Darnold. And they're not a 10-year solution, but Sam Darnold's 27. Russell Wilson would be a more, stopgap. Sam Darnold could be the future for the next 10 years of the Jets. He's figured it out. He's what we could have had if we had been patient, right? And then who knows? And who knows what it looks like, what these past few years will look like if he was there, if you had a serviceable quarterback, a younger person, less prone to injury. What would you have had, these past couple of seasons? He's also good with the core of the team now. If you bring in a rookie quarterback, that's going to need some years of development. There's a risk there that this core that you built the team around, that's still there, right? Joe Douglas, say what you want. He evaluated talent very well, except for quarterbacks. But he evaluated talent really well, right? You don't want to lose that core. And if you go with a rookie and, in our current backup quarterback, I think you're going to lose these years. And right now, you could plug and play a Sam Darnold, the Russell Wilson, and then that's how you run it back. But you don't run it back with Aaron Rodgers. So it's a resounding yes for Sam Darnold if you could get him.
All right, let's flip the switch. I forgot to do this at the top of the show. 68 members away from our number one Austrian Jets fan getting his emoji, which, by the way, Pop, is something you want to take credit for? Aren't you the one that advocated and pounded the table for a number one Austrian Jets fan, perhaps being next in line?
I did. I was the first one to jump out there. Actually, it was delayed. I was going to suggest it as we were getting closer to Phil. I was going to suggest I had some problem wherever I was listening. I couldn't log in, but I'm glad I was. And yeah, he a loyal supporter of the show, engaged. There's the listeners that listen, there's the listeners that comment, there's the ones that call in, and of the ones that comment and support the show, let's not even say that. Almost every time I'm on, and I don't get to come on as often as I do, and I mean listen as come on, he's always contributing, he's always commenting, and it was a no-brainer for me. So cheers.
Yeah, there you go. Mazel tov to our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby. So we will keep an eye on that. So keep it going. You guys can join the Boy Green Coffee Club. That is a pinned comment on youtube.com/BoyGreen25. And like I said, you could vote in our Sam Darnold poll. We'll continue to check on that throughout the show and keep you guys posted on those poll results. You guys can always join the Boy Green Coffee Club down in the YouTube description down below. So I heard you say, because you were talking about quarterback contract comps, you mentioned Geno Smith. What was the other quarterback that you mentioned?
Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
And he's in the low 30s. And so Sam Darnold next year, I'm not sure what the market is because it's been really weird, right? The middle market, the middling market, if you will. You have the top flight or the perceived top flight, like Trevor Lawrence, perceived top flight quarterback, top dollar, low return. Buy high, sell low. Then you have this other middle of the road group, and I'm going to throw names in there that I'm not espousing them as the quarterbacks of choice, but I'm giving them as examples. You have the Gardner Minshew, who's the low end of this range, but you have the Geno and the Baker, who are in the middle.
They're at 25. Geno's at $25 million per year. Baker Mayfield $33.33 million.
That's the pool that I think Sam Darnold will be swimming around in. I don't think he's not going to get that's about the ballpark. Now it could be both those contracts are a year or two old, so it'll be higher based on the it's another year has gone by, market value. But that's the range where I see him getting the contract. And if you got Sam Darnold, let's just throw a number out there. If you got him for 4 years for $100 million sold, right? If you could get that contract done.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because the extra factor, obviously, that we have to include in here is unrestricted free agency, and that gets crazy. And the limited options, right? It's Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold. Again, I don't know if Russell Wilson even hits the market. Maybe Pittsburgh and him go like, hey, this thing's working pretty well. Bang, bang. And then only Sam Darnold is the only true option out there. The rest of them are dart throws. When I say dart throws, I mean Justin Fields and things of that nature that aren't full-time starters.
Now I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I would tell you, Justin Fields, for me, you just look at it, right? It's all about having the right person, and it's not necessarily relationships, but the right talent recognition and development, right? So somebody's trash is somebody's treasure, right? Like the Denver Broncos cut off their right nut, right? And to just get rid of Russell Wilson, right? Just get out. You're take $80 million. We're paying. Get out,
right?
And you could say what you want a lot about the head coach of the Steelers. I'm very fond of
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin. He recognized he fits into. He can do the ground and pound that the Steelers over the past tenure of Mike Tomlin, have won the most games without scoring an offensive touchdown. But that's a crazy stat. It's not even close.
He's had 2. Think about this. So he's had 2 wins this season, Mike Tomlin, where he didn't score a touchdown. It was all field goals. By the way, Greg Olsen actually has that stat because some people were arguing about winning games with only kicking field goals and having that conversation. Greg Olsen tweeted this out. He was having here it is. So teams that only kick field goals, so obviously they don't score touchdowns over the last 10 seasons, are 25 and 224. That's a 10% winning percentage. 4 of those have come this season. 2 of those were by Pittsburgh. So that's just some wild numbers.
But I mean, Russell Wilson is exactly it. You can ground and pound. And by the way, at the drop of a hat, he's throwing it 80 yards.
Right. Yeah, he's still got it in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think, so that's just, you get the right talent. The other free agents, right? I'm not advocating for the Pro Bowler that we are all fond of trotting him out. The former Baltimore Raven will also be an unrestricted free agent.
Tyron Huntley.
Yeah.
Snoopy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not advocating for him, but Justin Fields would be interesting.
Sure.
That would be interesting. You bring in the right person, and that he obviously has talent, and he's been whatever. Now that's a sideshow. That's a project. That's whatever it is.
It's a 1-year deal, I would imagine, because Justin Fields is on his rookie contract with Chicago. He did whatever he did. Get traded to Pittsburgh. He's middling to the fact that he's not a full-time starter, so he's just going to hit it. And I imagine a 1-year prove-it deal. Someone's like, yeah, sure, Justin, let's give it a whirl on the tilt-a-whirl and see what happens. That's what I imagine is what Justin Fields would receive.
And I would tell you, if you could get him, so I would get him, and I would get Sam Darnold, and here's why. If I bring in Justin Fields, I would talk to him first. And by the way, he's not getting a lot of money, right? He's not going to get a lot of money. Yeah, he's going to get less than Tyler Minshew money. He's going to get less money than Sam Darnold got this year. I don't know what it would be, but I would tell
probably
you
Gardner Minshew. Gardner got 2 for 25, so I'd imagine it's maybe
10 to 12
for 15,
million.
1 for 12. I
but
don't know. Yeah.
If Justin Fields for me, I'd bring him in and I'd say, hey, come here. Come here, buddy. Hey, I want to tell you something. You're not going to be our quarterback. I just want you to know that. You're not going to be a quarterback, but you are going to be /5.0. We are going to bring you in the game.
Take that, but
at this point, he's going to take whatever he can get, right?
Wow. Okay.
I mean, he's not arguing with people, right? He's just, thank you, sir. Can I have another cracker? No, you can't have it. Okay, thank you, sir. I thought I'd ask. No, so he's just going to be happy to have a ticket to the show instead of buying a ticket. That's where I see, right? So I think he could get got. But anyway, Sam Darnold's the way. I would not bring in Justin Fields as a solution to the Jets. I go with Sam Darnold and go back to it real quick. Is the Jets they need a coach. And I'm saying Back to the Future, that's the Sam Darnold. And I'm also saying Back to the Future, bring in the fat man that likes feet. Bring him in. Was that too deep for you? Didn't get that?
No. I think everyone got that, and
Yep.
their mothers got that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
their mothers got that. The fat man that likes feet. Bring him back. Bring the accountability back. Right? Bring the person back that's gone to more playoff games as a head coach of the New York Football Jets than anyone in the history of the team. Who has led to the Jets the most playoff games? Rex frickin' Ryan. Bring him back. Bring back the accountability. He brings back the camaraderie. You bring him back with this team. Plug and play Sam Darnold. Now you're breaking that playoff drought. Now you're not going to have the first winning season in, one winning season in 14 years, or whatever the number is. That's actually the last time the playoffs too. Bring in Rex Ryan. Bring in Sam Darnold. Back to the Future. 100%.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Someone earlier was like, I think it was Molon was the one who said it here in the comment section going, no, he doesn't like that. But no, earlier he said like 25 million. No, thanks on Sam Darnold. I just want to make this very clear. I think Sam Darnold's probably getting Daniel Jones money, which is 35 to 40 million per year. So like you said, 25, no thanks. I think he's getting more than 25 would be my gut, especially on the open market. People get overpaid, and someone's going to be like, ooh, Sam Darnold, it's finally clicked. He's 27. All the other options suck. You know what? Why not give him, to your point, the 3-year Geno deal, the 3-year Baker deal for somewhere in the ballpark? I think it's 30 million plus easy. It depending on how, I guess, the season finishes out, but because he's added on a lot more picks than he had earlier in the year. He was in the MVP conversation earlier in the year, so this is even more than before. But yeah,
I would
think
tell you,
decent change.
You said a name I was actually going to bring up on the show.
Who's that?
And let's calm down, everybody.
Oh,
I would say no. If you realize what I said before the Jets signed Aaron Rodgers, I said you don't need a superstar quarterback. You need a serviceable quarterback, which, by the way, Aaron Rodgers has not been. You need a serviceable quarterback. You've got talent. You've got Agent Zero. You have Breece Hall. You have these wide receivers. You have talent. You got to figure out what's going on with defense, which, by the way, Rex Ryan could do that for you. But I would not, it's silly that Jets fans will scoff at people when, I don't know, when you do things, you got to have the bank account to back it up. Like, that guy sucks. Well, guess what the Jets do right now? So I would say Daniel Jones would be an interesting proposition. Whoa. He would be 2025's version of Russell Wilson. Just think about that. With the right, he could be the 2020. You get him for a song. He comes in, and you don't ask him to be Air McNair. You don't ask him to sling the ball around. You ask him to be you ask him to be Trent Dilfer of the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. And I would say, if you're not at least considering all these options, you can go through the list, say, yeah, I don't want to bring Tim Boyle back. Okay. Let's not let him boil. Remember that? If we could run back 12 months ago, Boy Green, let him boil. Woo!
He boiled over. That's what happened there. Which, by the way, talking about embarrassing for poor Daniel Jones, who you're advocating for, which, by the way, didn't have that on the bingo card, but here we are, I guess. But Daniel Jones being demoted to QB4 behind Tim Boyle, who they just signed, and Daniel Jones was playing scout team safety this week. The Giants saying, wow, I can't believe he asked for his release. Crazy. Didn't see that coming. I don't know how you did not see that coming. He's a prideful man. He was a first-round draft pick. He was the franchise quarterback a week ago. Now all of a sudden, booyah, he's out on the street. So I don't know how you didn't see that. So, wow. I'm going to be honest, did not have you banging the bell for old Daniel Jones. The quarterback, I thought, because it appeared yesterday, you're catching a lot of stray bullets on the Jake Asman show yesterday that we also streamed over on this channel.
I was?
You were.
Okay.
You came up in conversation because somehow it came up like the available potential quarterback options next year. And again, as straight up scheduled free agents, it's Russell Wilson and Sam Darnold. But there are some that could get cut and enter the pool. One of the supposed cuts was Daniel Jones, who literally got cut, so he is now available. But the other one is your boy Derek Carr. And there's a lot of chatter that he's going to get straight up dumped by the New Orleans Saints. So the Jets, in theory, would have their second whack at the piñata. And someone sent in a super chat yesterday on the Jake Asman show saying, Paul Esden Sr. thinks if the Jets had Derek Carr, they'd be 8-3 instead of 3-8. They'd be going to all these different things. So
That's
like
still true. That's still true.
Okay, see,
Just
so
for the
okay.
record,
That was a well-placed super chat then, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the Jets don't need, one of these top quarterbacks. They don't need them. They didn't need them. Now it turns out they needed a lot more other things that we didn't know.
Sure,
right? We didn't know this
good,
defense was going to collapse like a crappy old school lawn chair. We didn't know that was going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what did you think was going to happen? The New York Giants. Actually, if it wasn't the Jets didn't live in New York, of course, neither one of them actually live in New York. If the Jets didn't live in New York, then the Giants' inadequacies and stupidity would be more apparent. You traded away one of the best running backs of this generation, if not the best running back of this generation.
He didn't run away free agency. He left in free agency.
But you let him go, right?
Yeah, right.
You let him go.
Yeah, sure.
Right. You had options.
Yeah.
He didn't have to leave. And who knew? He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Who knew? Right now, I would say I don't know the age difference. This is just off the top of my head between King Henry and Barkley, but I think it's probably 5 or 6 years. So I call that generation for me. That's a different.
So Saquon
generation.
is 27. Derrick Henry's 30.
Okay, so it's closer than I thought. And running back, the average running back only stays in the league. I think it's less than 3 years. But so they're both in the same ballpark. So. King Henry has it over Saquon. We'll see over the course of the end of the career what it looks like. But when you took away the best player on the team, you're like, oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. You weren't.
Yeah.
You weren't. And I think the only reason Daniel Jones is getting scapegoated, if you will, is this balloon thing that they're going to have to pay him whatever, 25, 30, 23.
The injury guarantee if somehow... Even if he scratches his ass in the facility, trips over himself, you'd still owe him that injury guarantee, which, again, makes sense for all parties that they just ended up cutting him. Another option, and I'm going to be honest, this option that has just been super chatted, and I'm about to put it on the board, I heard first yesterday. Connor Hughes of SNY does like this mini Jet show that's like 10, 15, 20 minutes or something. And he was going through the Jets quarterback options. And one of the options he said is trading for Trevor Lawrence. And I was like, huh? I had not even heard of that as a possibility. Ace of Spades sends in this YouTube super chat. Every time I get a super chat, my daughter Soraya Luna chimes in.
Wow.
Wow is the correct response to that one. Ace of Spades says, would you trade for Trevor Lawrence? He's fixable? ? Again, I had never really heard of this idea until yesterday when I ran into it with Connor Hughes on social media. I went, whoa. And I said, whoa. Absolutely not, is what I said. Trevor Lawrence, by the way, for those counting at home, is the 4th highest paid quarterback in football, or technically he's tied for second at $55 million per. But just on this over the cap list, he's listed as 4th, but it is tied for second. Is Trevor Lawrence? It's Dak Prescott at $60 million, and it's 3 guys tied for $55 million: Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has never lived up to the hype. I've always thought he was overrated, and I don't want any part of that contract. So I have absolutely zip and pip interest in trading for Trevor Lawrence. No, thank you. Overrated. No, thank you. I'd rather go through door number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I don't even know what are in those doors than trade for Trevor Lawrence. But Pop, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm surprised he got that contract. Let's just talk about that for a minute.
Well, your own guy, right? This is kind of what I always say, and feel free to disagree with it. This is also, I think, the Giants paid Daniel Jones. Is he Patrick Mahomes, or is Trevor Lawrence Patrick Mahomes? No, but he's your Patrick Mahomes. The same thing I just said out loud. Do you want to go through door number 1, which is your Trevor Lawrence if you're the Jaguars, or Daniel Jones if you're the Giants, or door number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Well, Paul, what's behind door number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No friggin' clue. So do you want to go with what you know, or your random door? Well, what we know is this quarterback is this. Those mystery quarterbacks, I have no idea what they're going to be. Okay, we're going to pay him. Or especially, I guess they both ended up being the same thing, because Daniel Jones was a rookie and then got paid. Trevor was a rookie on the rookie contract, then got paid. So I think that's why they paid him, because teams are afraid to throw door number 1 out that they have in the building and just go for the mystery door, not knowing where they're going to land. They're going to run through the door and hope they don't fall to their death. So a lot of teams seem to be afraid to do that.
Yeah. And, I think Trevor Lawrence needs to not be on a crappy team. I think that's it. If he was less expensive, I would trade for Trevor Lawrence and bring in the right person. And yeah, I mean, it's the right team around him, right? He's averaging his career, and think about this:
Yeah, let's
once
pull
or
it up here.
twice he missed at the end of one of the years. He missed like 3 or 4 games, right? Is playing hurt, but he's averaging 4,000 passing yards a year.
Yeah,
And
that's about
could
right.
can anybody in the audience name a Jacksonville wide receiver from a
Christian
couple of years
Kirk.
ago?
Yeah.
Right, and he's not throwing that ball to Jerry Rice, right? I would tell you that if you ever know the name of a Jacksonville wide receiver, like Clayton and Duper, if anyone out there, old school, Clayton
Super
and Duper,
duper.
super
Yeah.
duper, Clayton and Duper. You know who they were? For those that don't know, those are the
Miami.
2 wide receivers
Yeah.
for Dan Marino. The
Mhm.
only reason anybody knows their name is Dan Marino,
I see.
right? Any other team, you would never have heard their name. They would have been back to bagging groceries with Kurt Warner where he belonged. But so I'm telling you that there is something there on Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, just for the record, I freaking hate Trevor Lawrence. One of the happiest moments of my life was when the Syracuse Orange knocked that little pussy out of the game.
Jesus.
And they dragged his carcass off the sidelines on the way to a Syracuse Orange victory. So I don't like him. However, I
Okay.
do think he would bring value as a New York Jet, and plugging him into this team that current stands today, just today. Who knows what it's going to look? Who knows? And that's something we talk about a different time. Who knows what the wide receiving room looks like next year? Nobody knows. But plug him in today to the Jets, and the Jets have, double or plus more of their wins.
Well, I don't know about that, but okay. All
Well, I
right.
don't know. I would have liked to have him at the end of the game with 1 minute and 10 seconds left, as opposed to what we had.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most embarrassing sequences, and he had the time. So forget any excuse. He had the time, and he looked like Tim Boyle, right? I said, and we talked about it, I think maybe last week, the opportunity, or I called in the show. I think I called in the show, the post-game show. But, right, I said, this is it. This is the moment. If you remember a week ago when I was on the show, it's time for Aaron to step up, and, he's been cashing the checks, right?
Sure.
Those have been clearing. But it's time to actually bring forth what you were brought here for. And when he had 1 minute left in the game with a timeout, I'm like, and he needed a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, we don't even need Aaron Rodgers of 2000, whatever it is, 2001.
Yeah.
We need Aaron Rodgers like 5 years. I just need you to get in field goal range. And by the way, we have a pretty good kicker, shockingly, not the guy on IR.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that net yardage was almost negative on that drive.
It probably was. Yeah. Which is a tough place. All right, we're running out of time for my pop. He's going to be jumping off the show here in a few minutes. We have 400 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. I'll try to go through a few questions here. Dan the Jets Fan 21 says, Boy Green, question for your dad. If you were Woody Johnson, what's the first move you would make at the conclusion of the regular season?
Yeah, I would not wait to the conclusion of the regular season. The first move I would make right now is hire a general manager. And I would scour who I want now. And I'm not as very familiar with the general managers that are out there, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Most of us aren't.
but I would come up with a game plan of the top 1 to 2 that I wanted, and then I'd make it happen. He's not short on Woody's not short on cash.
That's
and
for
so
sure.
he could make it happen, right? He could get the guy he wants, shy of some long-term embedded person, that just signed a new contract. He's got to get the right GM in, and he's got to have the conversation with him. And it's not really an interview because, people can say shit in interviews, like in presidential elections. They say shit that's not true. And then, by the way, afterwards, they're like, hey, remember when you said you weren't going to raise taxes? Yeah, I was lying. So what you ask me sit down is like, who would you bring in for a head coach? How would you fix? Those are the real questions. Not, could you name a time where you had to do? No. Who are you going to bring in for head coach? How would you fix this defense? What are you going to do? So right out of the gate, I guess the answer to Dan, the Jets fans question is, I get the GM, but I don't guess I know what his plan is. you're going to interview for my job of the Jets. You're going to bring me a freaking plan. Like, who's the head coach going to be? What are you going to do that? Where do you envision your plan is? And by the way, if I'm that GM, I'm like, by the way, when I want to bench Zach Wilson, I'm going to bench Zach Wilson. When I'm going to go sign whoever to bat as soon as Aaron goes down, I'm doing it then, just so you know, or I'm not going to be your GM. So Woody's got to get the right guy right away. You know, the day after, whenever you're allowed to do whatever you do,
Yeah,
whatever, you know, if the guy's still in the playoffs or whatever the
Yeah.
tampering rules are. But that's what I would do.
Yeah, that was going to be my only pushback because that's what Ace of Spade was going to say. So right now, for instance, Rex Ryan, he's not a GM, but like Rex Ryan, because he's not in the NFL, the Jets, if they wanted to, they could hire Rex Ryan today if they wanted to, and he could just take over as head coach because he has no affiliation. Or GM, again, I don't want Smooth Lou anymore, but Louis Riddick of ESPN, they could hire him today as the general manager if they wanted to. Because he has no affiliation in the NFL currently. He's outside of the walls. But with the tampering and just the rules straight up on interviewing, the same.
And that's why you've got to identify who your top candidates are.
Yeah, right, because that's what Ace of Spade is saying. You'll have more if you hire one before the end of the season, you'll be sort of limited on your options. But if you wait, you'll have more options.
But you gotta pick who you want, the top couple you want. But I'll tell you what I would do today. I'll leave it with this. What I would do today is I would go hire Rex Ryan as a special consultant to whoever.
Okay.
And, you know, Rex, you want a shot at being the head coach? You're going to be a special assistant to the head coach. You call it whatever you want. You call it interim general manager. Call him that. I don't give a shit what you call him. Call him something. Have him come in. Show me. You said you could fix the Jets in 2 minutes, which is, by the way, what he said the other day.
Yeah, you love that clip? Yeah.
All right. You come in. And so we don't have to be – it's forget feelings, right? Ulbrich is not going to be working for the Jets anymore. He's not going to take that drive down MetLife Stadium Avenue anymore, right? So I don't give a what he thinks. I bring in Rex Ryan. By the way, if Rex says something, you know, show me. And because what's the risk? And you say to Rex, I'm going to hire you for the next 6, 7, 8 games, whatever the frick it is. And you want to do something? Do something. Now you've lit a fire. Now you've engaged the fan base who's about to, you know, start looking at the draft schedule and booking their tickets to wherever the draft is. You want to engage the fan base. You want to do something to excite people. Do that. And Rex would jump off that lily pad like it was on fire.
He may very well do that. I know we're running out of time with you, Pop, but going to the poll, we haven't talked about the results. Again, there's a poll on right now on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, you have to hop on over to YouTube to see it and vote in it and interact with it. It'll be live during the show. Again, would you be interested in a Sam Darnold Jets reunion in 2025? You guys had 2 options. Yes, let's go, or no friggin' way, pal. 57% of the fans said no friggin' way, pal. They do not want old Sammy. And to be honest, to be candid, I don't know if Sam Darnold will want to come back to the Jets after
that's the real.
So
that's the real thing. Run this poll. That same great group of individuals answer that poll. Run this poll. How many want him to run back with Aaron Rodgers? Pop that in there. How many people want Aaron Rodgers to come back in 2025? And if it's anything above 50% for the yes, you need to go ask your mom for a hug. Or you need to wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a nice hug. So,
I'd be curious if we ask the fan. I might have to do that. I don't know if I can run 2 concurrent polls, but either way, I would be kind of curious of the fan base where everyone stands because I've heard a lot of differing opinions on the Aaron Rodgers topic. So we'll have to get to that soon. Pop, I know you got to go, but appreciate you chiming in and some very interesting conversation.
Everyone have a great day. Go Jets.
And we'll see. So, Pop, what are we going to see on Thanksgiving Turkey Day?
Gobble, gobble.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Pop.
Bye.
Yep, see ya. Hop on Pop. Yes, we will get Hop on Pop again. That's coming up on Turkey Day. So for folks who don't know and they're new to the show, we have nearly 500 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. That helps spread the gospel, the YouTube algorithm for it. And I want to let everybody know that we are live every single day, baby. Holiday or not, Christmas or not, Thanksgiving or not, we're always live. If you guys could join us or spend time with family, that's fine. But we'll be here live every single day. So, guys, keep it rolling here We're about to open up the phone lines, and we'll see if you guys have any additional thoughts you'd like to share. Also, a reminder, we are 68 members away from our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby, from getting their emoji. So let's keep chipping away. Again, you could join the Boy Green Coffee Club in our YouTube description down below. Just simply join the Boy Green Coffee Club here, or you can gift channel membership. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a little money sign. Click that. It's the final option that's there. And you can gift as many as you'd like. 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 25, 50. You could drop that 50 spot if you see fit. That's totally up to you on whether or not you guys want to do that, but feel free, and you can help out your fellow Boy Green Daily listener and viewer. All right, we're going to take a quick HEP song timeout. We'll be right back with the phone lines open here on a Saturday. Let's go, baby.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking just football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets.
Pour one out for our guy Hep, baby. One of the best in the friggin' business. Hey, everybody. Again, I'm Paul Leston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. In the first half of the show, we just had my old man, Hop on Pop, on the program. A lot of fun. And now you could be our guest. That is the pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. If you'd like to call into today's show, we got 500 people in the room. We appreciate you. If you'd like to call into the show and share your thoughts on Sam Darnold, perhaps another Jets quarterback option, feel free to do so. Again, that is on YouTube exclusively to call into the show. But I do want to talk about the other option, which I saw you guys talking about in the comments section. I want to go back to it because a lot of people have overlooked the most simple option for the New York Jets. Because at the top of the show, I asked, who is behind door number 2? Door number 1 is Aaron Rodgers. And it seems at this point, it's probably not going to be Aaron Rodgers. So if it's not going to be Aaron, who's it going to be? And a very popular response I saw in the YouTube comment section is, Paul, what about Ty God, baby? Tyrod Taylor. He's under contract for a reasonable amount. Most of it's guaranteed. So he's going to be here no matter what. There's no sense in cutting him for no reason. He's one of the better backup quarterbacks in football. But maybe he goes from one of the better backup quarterbacks in football to bridge starter. What if he's the starting quarterback? You move on from Aaron. Either he retires or you move on yourself. It's Tyrod Taylor at QB1. QB2, maybe it's Jordan Travis, again, depending on how you feel and the health and things of that nature. And then you just bite the bullet, bite the sheets, as they say. The fact of the matter is, if Aaron Rodgers retires or we cut him or anything, while there's no more guaranteed money in his contract, there is dead money. And the Jets can choose to take that on the chin in 2025 or spread the love over the next 2 years. It is what it is. To me, personally, I'd rather take my lumps and not spread it out. It'd be one thing spreading it out if you thought the Jets were going to be a Super Bowl contender. And with Tyrod Taylor, to put it bluntly, I do not believe the Jets are going to win a Super Bowl with Tyrod Taylor. Because especially with what we saw, the regression from the defense, that the defense is not the elite defense it was. We're going to have a new coaching staff, so who knows what that's going to be. It doesn't look great. I see Jared B. asking, our moderator in the chat, I wish we could get an update on Jordan Travis. Yeah, there's no update. And Zach Rosenblatt in a recent piece said there's been no indication that he will be ready anytime soon. The last update we got on Jordan Travis was from Robert Saleh, our old head coach, that said that his rehab is taking longer than we thought, which seems to indicate he probably won't be ready for this year. Will he be ready after that? Will he ever be the same quarterback? I mean, it was a disgusting, gruesome injury. That's up to debate. I don't know. That's up to debate. Snowball. Use Tyrod as the bridge between Travis or another drafted quarterback. Will Howard? I'm crazy, right? No, I think that might be the most realistic option. You take your lumps, you eat the dead cap. You just take it right on the chin. So you take whatever that dead cap's going to be, and you just take it. And then you say, okay, we're gonna take our lumps, and we're gonna just try to grow as an organization. You're gonna have a new head coach, new general manager. You take your lumps. You'll probably get another high pick, which isn't great. You don't want to hear that as a Jets fan, right? No. And so we're in the, if the Jets don't make the playoffs this season, which seems incredibly unlikely, they will miss it for 14 seasons. And then to hear heading into next year, probably not then either, 15 seasons. I mean, God, that sucks as a Jets fan. but it might be best for business, to use a WWE term. It might be best for business to set you up properly moving forward. It could be. Our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby, getting involved. You love to see it. A membership has just been gifted from the high heavens. See it, baby. Let's update the banner. We are now 67 members away from our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby, from getting their emoji. And that lucky new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club is Michael DeRamo. Welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to our number one Austrian Jet fan for spreading the love. Guys, make sure you do it. Join the Boy Green Coffee Club. It's only $2.99 a month. Help support the show. Appreciate y'all. Our number one Austrian Jet fan, baby. Number one. Number one in our hearts. Number one in the emoji land. Looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. Let's go to the phone lines. We've got NY Jets FL here on the show. What's up, buddy?
Oh, good morning. 39 degrees here in Florida. 39
Jesus.
degrees. If it matters. Is it colder up there or no?
That's a good question. I haven't been outside yet. It was bad yesterday. We had a lot of cold rain and sleet and that sort of stuff. So I'm looking outside. For some reason, we left like kind of the window, not open to weather, but open that I can see out of it. And it looks very gross outside. So probably cold here. Probably cold.
Okay. I would think about Sam Darnold depending on how the season ends. If it implodes, then I want no part of him. Okay. I know
sure.
I know the price would go up if he plays well.
Yeah.
But that's the risk you're going to take, right? Obviously. But let me throw this scenario at you. If we could somehow get John Gruden, Derek Carr, and keep Devontae Adams.
Wow.
Which, that's what I started thinking. Because you talked with your dad about Derek Carr, and I know they're probably going to move on from him. But when Derek Carr was with Devontae, and I know Gruden loves Carr, he's tough.
Of course.
And he's, maybe you want to try one of those scenarios and, totally get rid of Rodgers. And then maybe I wouldn't even bother drafting a quarterback in the first round. Why bother? You need to fix the defensive line. Get a stud defensive tackle next to Quinnen. That's the first thing I would get.
Yeah, because, I've heard a lot of people say, so again, Aaron could be gone. That makes a lot of sense. But a lot of people have said just throw Devontae Adams out with the bathwater, and I really don't want to. I think Devontae is a lot better than what he's shown, but it's because of this inconsistent quarterback play. So to get a Carr who already has this great relationship with him, obviously Devontae loves Derek Carr. Derek Carr will be available. He's probably one of the better options if we're being serious and we look at all the options. He's probably one of the better ones available. He already seriously flirted with New York before, so obviously he had an interest in them to take the meeting in the first place. He obviously has a great interest in Devontae Adams. That's not the worst thing in the world. And to your point, instead of your first-round pick just going to whatever random quarterback might be there at 7, 8, 9, if that's where you're sitting, instead of forcing a square peg in a round hole, draft Mason Graham or something, plug him next to Quinnen Williams, and then just be better as a football team. And then if you suck again next year, let's say the Derek Carr thing doesn't work, okay, you're going for Arch Manning, all the chips in the middle of the table in 2026. So, yeah, to me, that's wildly intriguing. I haven't heard that a lot of Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, the whole reunion show in New York, but it's I'm tempted.
Yeah, they played in college too together at Fresno State.
Fresno State, so that's correct. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean that's and I would even think about bringing Rex in as DC. That would that would be. I don't know what kind of relationship Rex has with Gruden. But,
yeah, I don't know either. But wow, wouldn't that'd be a fun team?
Oh my God! I mean, you want to talk about press conferences between the two guys? It would be. Right. I mean, it would be. I would pay the price of admission for that, Paul. I mean that. If that's a shit show anyway, which I don't think.
Right.
It would
At
be.
least it's an entertaining shit show. That's a good point. Yeah.
But I think it's a legitimate. I really think like that might be our best case scenario. I don't know about Darnold, Paul. I mean,
He's going to be a lot of money because, like, here's the thing with Carr.
Yeah.
I could see Carr taking a 1-year deal. I could see the Fields and some of these other guys, like Darnold at 27. He's going to want big money, and I'm sure I don't blame him. He hasn't really gotten the big money outside of the draft money he got. So, like, sure, I could totally see him wanting to cash in on a 3 or 4-year deal for like 30 million plus. And is that the right direction for the Jets? I don't know.
Yeah. I'll go with that, but I was hoping your dad would still be on because I was going to ask him about, purported, not to say rumors, but people talking about trading Dak or cutting him to save the cap and then going, quarterback early.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have to do something with that team. Something has to budge there. Either Micah gets traded, or CD or Dak. I don't see how you're going to come out of that hole. That's what I could see.
Are you saying that you would be interested in Dak if he became available? Is that what you're saying?
The only problem with Dak, the salary is huge,
massive,
and he's not good in the playoffs. I would, if you're going to run it, if you can get that combo with Gruden and Carr, I would take that over Dak, because then you got to pay that guy.
Yeah,
there's no way I would. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want that. Yeah, but the Cowboys would be smart to reboot. I don't understand that. I mean, they should draft a quarterback. If they want to get Shador and Dion together, that would be most logical for them. And that's a typical Jerry move. Your dad talks about how bad the Jets are. Jerry's a bit of a quack too. Let's be honest. So, all right, Paul, you have a good one.
All right, thank you. NY Jets FL. A lot to chew on there with that call. That's wow. Yeah, I don't know if the Dak thing's again. If we think the Jets are in cap hell with the Aaron Rodgers dead cap, do you imagine how much friggin' dead cap there'd be for the Dak Prescott deal that he just signed? Good Lord. I mean, I don't know. Cowboys could do whatever the hell they want, I guess, but that would be friggin' bonkers. That would be dumb. That'd be dumb as hell. I don't understand how you're gonna go. Yeah, Dak, highest paid quarterback of all time. No, whoa. Let's get rid of him. Yeah, they'd be friggin' bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We've got a sunbathing Neil Sr. here.
How are you, Paul?
Hey, what's going on, pal?
I missed the early part of the show with your dad.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Sam Darnold is a no thank you for me.
Okay.
That's a definite retread. I watch Sam Darnold. He's having a great year.
Mm-hmm.
And I take that year, how great he is, and I really pin it onto the coaching staff.
Which
and
is
how
great.
they
Kevin O'Connell.
You know what I mean? Kevin O'Connell is putting the puppet strings on him. He's definitely Pinocchio with puppet strings, okay? He's definitely not a boy yet, okay? When he's a boy, I'll let you know. But he's not a boy yet. He's still got puppet strings. Yeah, and I've seen him in a couple of games where when you put the pressure on him, even in our game, when you put pressure on Sam, he still panics and makes bad decisions. He's not a polished quarterback. I mean, Derek Carr is better than him, and I don't even love Derek Carr. All right, so I don't know why. Can I ask you why? Why is Rodgers assumingly not coming back next year? I haven't heard any indications that he's going to retire. Number one,
right.
Number two, he's hurt right now, and when he's less hurt, I think we're going to see him resemble more the Patriot game, Rodgers, than
I hope so.
Than the last couple of games. I mean,
yeah, I think to be honest, I think it's a little presumptuous. A lot of so where has it come from? It's come from the insiders of Rich Media, Connor Hughes, and people like that. But even with those people that cover the team for a living, and I get it, that's their job, and they're sharing what they have. It seems presumptuous to me to just say, of course he's back, or of course he's gone, because who's the head coach? Who's the GM?
Right.
What's going on with Aaron? Like, I don't know. It just feels crazy to say that.
Let me just say this to you, Paul. You're the head coach. You're getting hired as a Jet head coach, okay?
Sure.
Now, you want to make a great first impression. I mean, Rex even said he would have Rodgers back in a heartbeat. I mean, it's really not that hard of a decision to bring Aaron back, because the reality is you got Tyrod Taylor. The big problem we have with Aaron this year is he was hurt after the Denver game, okay?
Yeah, okay.
He was hurt. we really at that point should have sat him down, put Tyrod in for a couple of games, and let him get better and get the leg back so he could run. Because without him moving in the pocket and creating after the scrambling to create, which he could still do on two healthy legs, we saw it in camp. I mean, in camp, the guy was putting on a clinic. I mean, you don't just crash and burn in 4 months. I mean, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is he's hurt. The other reality is, I am telling you, when he is not hurt anymore, you will know he's not hurt any longer because he's going to be playing a lot better. You're not going to continually see shit play out of Rodgers. If it happens, I'll be really, really, really surprised. You don't go down the tube just like that. I mean, I know it's a steady thing. And I don't believe he's going to come out of it. I don't believe he's going to retire after this year. I mean, if I'm him, the way the media, look, this media is atrocious. We have it's horrible. It's just fake. All these articles, I don't believe a third of what's been said. I don't believe I don't believe any of it, be frank with you. I think they're just clickbaiting all over the place. And it's pissing Aaron Rodgers off. I don't, at the end of it all, let's say this to you. If he came back and had an outstanding 6 games and went 5-1, and we all loved him again, I wouldn't doubt the fact he'd say, go F yourself and leave and go play for Minnesota when Darnold leaves. I wouldn't blame him if he did it, because we turned on this guy. He was the sweetheart of New York. I mean, look what we did for. Has any quarterback, Paul, it never in my memory has a quarterback had the accolades coming into a team than we had with Aaron Rodgers.
Definitely a 4-time MVP and all that. Yeah, I don't think so.
No, he sold out every camp practice. Camp practices were like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We were Aaron Rodgers. He comes out of the thing. I mean, come on. And all of a sudden we turn on the guy because he has a few bad games. And the reality is he's not the reason we lost several of these games. He might be the reason we lost 2. But the reality is, we know why we lost the other 5, 3 by kicker and 2 by defensive fall apart. That's 5. Yeah. And you know what? Football is a game of inches, Paul. We all know that, right? So the reality is, these 5 games we lost, we just as well could have very easily won 3 of them or 4 of them, even if we win 3 out of 5. And the one of them that we lost was so historic, it didn't happen for 750 games or some shit.
Yeah.
Right? What was that thing? That never happened before.
Yeah, right. With the Jets having no turnovers and this yardage and their defense holding them to this amount, right? Teams were 750-0 in those games until the Jets lost.
All right, we lost that game.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is you don't lose that game twice. So the reality, so that's one. Then the 50-yard Zerline kick in Denver. That's a gimme for him. And and then he misses 2 in the Buffalo game, right?
Yeah, but we lose by 3. So there it is.
I mean, it's just 3 games and 2. That's 5. You take 3, we're off where we are right now, Paul, and we're right in the thick of it right now.
We would be.
If we're 5 and 5 losses, we'd be 6-5.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody would be going
5 and 6, I believe.
5
we're 3 and 8, so 5 and 6. Yeah.
That's 2 games is 5 and 6. 3 games is 6 and 5.
Right. And then obviously one of those would have been Denver, which would have brought them closer to you, which would have had you flipped, maybe even into the wild card spot. So yeah, it's crazy.
And you know what? That's right with that record, you're right in the thick of it, and we're all talking about how good a masseuse that Rodgers has working on his leg and his groin and everything else. And Jesus, how you doing, Aaron? Are you okay? And this and that, and we're all excited going into after the bye week.
Well, let's see what he has coming out of the bye week. I think that's going to be a good temperature check on Aaron to see if he doesn't look good coming out of the bye. Boy, I don't know what to say, because he will essentially have 2 weeks off. So he should look as great as he's going to look against Seattle at home. There should be no excuse for that Seattle game coming off the bye.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna put my goggles on. I'm gonna put a look on him really well, and like I said, he's always said that when it gets that extra rest, he's been yearning for that extra rest. He loves those extra rest days because the guy's sitting. You got to realize that he comes to work every day, and the first place he goes is the training room.
Correct.
He's not going out there running around with the guys.
No.
He's going into a training room. So right now, he's getting the leg right. He's going to come out and practice next week, and it's my prediction that he's going to look a hell of a lot better. And when he does, 2 weeks from now, if we get 2 Aaron Rodgers great performances, I never want to hear the word Sam Darnold or Derek Carr or Tyrod Taylor Bridge or Jordan Travis. How you doing? Get the hell out of here. How are we going to win a Super Bowl with those guys? I'm running out of years, Paul. Bye.
I love it, Neil. Thank you. Oh God, that was a great Neil call right there. And then someone said earlier the classic cigar at 8 a.m. And someone said, Phil, Neil must have a baby photo with a cigar in his mouth. I could see that on the wall. That's amazing. All right, guys, that'll end. There's no better way to. I can't continue on. That is the best way to end it. But I agree with that Neil point. Let's end there. Aaron Rodgers has been yearning for that rest, and they got a bye week. And you think about the tail end of the week, you get the bye, and then the lead up to the next game. He has like a 2-week respite where he should be as healthy and healed as he can possibly be. The Jets have extra prep. They know who they were playing, Seattle. Now, historically, the Jets have sucked with extra rest. Presently, this season, the Jets have sucked with extra rest, which is bizarre. When they've had a short rest, Thursday Night Football games are 2-0. How does it make any sense? I have no idea. But the point is this will be the ultimate temperature check for the New York Jets. Is right here, right now, coming out of the bye. Enjoy the football today, college football, baby. Let's roll. We got Syracuse, UConn here in town, 7-3. Shout out. We got football tomorrow, and then we get ready for the week that'll be another Geno Smith Jets revenge game, and let's see how Aaron Rodgers looks. I think that'll give us a good temperature check of what the rest of the season's going to be. God bless everybody. Thanks for joining us. Shout out to the love for our #1 Austrian Jet fan, and we'll be back tomorrow for another edition of Boy Green Daily. Guys, take care.